I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Quarantine with the Stars. This is our daily show here on AfterBuzz TV, where we catch up with your favorite stars and see what they're doing during quarantine. I'm your host, Brian Santos, and I am joined by the last woman standing, Amanda Fuller. Amanda, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
I am super excited to get into this interview. We're going to talk about, of course, your work on Last Man Standing, some fun stuff about Orange is the New Black, and just everything you're doing during quarantine. So let's jump right in.
Okie doke.
Awesome. All right. So I want to start off by getting to know you a little bit better. So tell me about yourself and how you got into acting.
Well, I came out of the womb wanting to be on stage. I have 3 older brothers. My parents had no idea what to do with me because they were all in sports, and I was just like, please let me perform. So long story short, they put me in dance class. I did pageants for a very quick minute because my mom was like, this is not for us. And started doing theater, like community theater, when I was very young, like 4 or 5, like very young. And then I did my first film when I was 8 years old, and then it just kind of continued to work. So we just kept going with it. And as long as I kept straight A's and a good head on my shoulders, my parents encouraged and supported me. So I was very, very lucky. And then here we are, 27 years later. It's insane.
I love that. That is something that's such great credit. In 8th season, I believe, right?
Say that again. You froze a little bit.
Oh, I did?
8th
Okay.
season?
8th season, is it? Yes.
Last Man Standing? Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So for those who aren't familiar with the show, just tell us a little bit about it and your character real quick.
Well, it's a sitcom on Fox now with Tim Allen and Nancy Travis, and it's about a dad that runs like a outdoor man kind of store. It's actually called Outdoor Man, and he has 3 daughters, so it's kind of about his life navigating a life with nothing but estrogen. And I play his eldest daughter, who is the more liberal of the family, and so they butt heads a lot, but they're like have a very good relationship despite that, which I think is a really cool thing that we do on the show. And yeah, now we're 8 seasons in, and lots has happened and lots is happening, and it's just insane.
I love that. Well, of course, you're going to make your directing debut in the show upcoming, which is very, very exciting. So tell me about that as well.
Well, I've been directing on my own, like doing my own little shorts and web series and all that kind of stuff, and theater for at least the last decade, but never really had the balls to like pursue it, professionally. I would not that it's not professional what I've done, but like for prime time, because I thought, nobody wants me to direct. But luckily, there's this like surgence of female directing that kind of kicked me in the ass, and
yes.
So a couple years ago, I started to like poke around and ask the producers if that would be something that would be possible, and they were like, yeah, let's make it happen. And so it took a little time, but the season, it's happening, and April 9th is my first episode, and we did it, and it was amazing, and I have been bitten by the bug, and now I don't want to stop. So yeah, it's a huge milestone for me. I'm very excited.
I love that. Well, congratulations. I'm super excited for you. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about it because I kind of maybe understand it, but I'm still like wanting to know more from like, your perspective. So how does it work when you're directing a show you're acting in?
Well, it's different for Last Man Standing than it would be for like any sort of single cam or 1-hour drama or 1-hour series or film, because we're a sitcom. So we're kind of a dying breed in the sense that we shoot in front of a live audience. We have 4 cameras on us at all times. And so the genre is a little bit more unique than how it would typically go. It makes it easier, I would say, for a director who's also acting in the show, because you can pre-tape your scenes so that you have them in the can, so to speak, and then anything that you do in front of a live audience is like icing on the cake. So for us, I was in 2 scenes of that episode. They wrote me light just to make it a little bit easier on me, and we pre-shot stuff, but then I did a couple scenes in the audience too, and I literally like felt like I was doing theater again when I was a little girl, because I would just we shot one scene and then they would go to get ready for the scene I was in, and I had to run backstage and do a quick change, which included a pregnancy belly because my character is pregnant on the show. because I was pregnant in real life, but I am no longer pregnant. I've had my child, but my character is still pregnant. So throwing on a pregnancy belly and doing a whole change and then coming out doing the scene and then doing it again afterwards. So it was quite the adrenaline rush. But like for me, it was just like, oh my God, I missed this kind of a thing. It was lots of fun. So, but yeah.
That is so cool. Yeah, I definitely thought that. I was like, maybe you can kind of like pre-tape your scenes that you're not going to be in, of course. I mean, you're going to be in, of course, and then work around that. So that's definitely interesting to see. So thank you so much for sharing.
Sure.
All right, let's move on and just talk real quick about Orange is the New Black. Obviously, that was one of Netflix's most successful shows, and you were in it, of course. So what was it like when the show ended? Like, how did you feel about all that?
I was heartbroken because I just felt like I was just getting started with the show, but also extremely grateful that I was able to be part of it at all before its end. So it was kind of this bittersweet thing. And I think for a lot of people on the show, it was similar. Like it's the end of an era for them. Um, Most of the regulars on that show who I like admire and respect and love so deeply, that was their life for like a decade, and it built their careers, a lot of them and stuff. So I think, not speaking for anybody, but the general feeling was that it was like time for people to move on, but also like, how do you let go of something that's so special to you? Luckily, I think the family that they built there is so strong that it's not like they're really letting it go. It's just that they, don't get to see each other every day anymore. But even the short time that I was there, I felt like a part of the family. So it was hard. It was like really, really hard for us to say goodbye. And me, and particularly, I was having so much fun sinking my teeth into that crazy character and wanted to do more. And so it was hard, but that's this business and that's how it goes. And I think it was the right time for the show. Um, and I think that they did a brilliant job with it. So I'm just very proud to have been a part of it, really.
Of course. And I didn't see, I'm speaking about your character. I saw your Cosmo article on your Instagram, just talking about the character and how I guess it's one of the more hated characters. You said it was a little bit crazy. So definitely interesting to see that perspective. I love that.
Yeah. It was an adventure, to say the least, to play somebody that's so hated. I mean, when we first, we shot the whole first season and we didn't know how people would react to her. And it was funny because I think on set, a lot of people were like, oh my God, people are going to fucking love you. And I was like, I don't know. This character she's a hard pill to swallow. And so I had this like instinct that it may not go over so well. And then, we premiered that season and it was just like an onslaught of hatred. But I think like at first it's hard, it's hard as an actor, you have to like separate yourself from your work, but also you're putting yourself into your work. So it's hard to take that kind of criticism and not take it personally. But at the same time, I knew what kind of a character I was playing, and it was such a reach and new territory for me. So I kind of had set myself up for it, but it was still hard. And then it took a turn where people started to not just hate me, but they like loved to hate me. And I think that was the goal, was like, okay, I'm doing my job now. Like that's what we wanted. We want the audience to have this like rush of energy towards this character, whether or not it's positive or negative. Like it all kind of is positive because that's the point of her. So once it kind of took that turn and it didn't feel so personal, I've just been riding the wave and loving it. When people comment and bully me and death threat me, I'm just like, you're welcome, or thank you. Like that's comes with the territory, I guess. So
oh my gosh,
an adventure.
I love a good villain, so I can definitely see where you're coming from with that. But while we're on the topic, like, what was one of the wildest, like, I guess, threads or like comments you had from people, the fans of the show?
I don't know if that's safe for interwebs or whatever we're doing. I mean, I had people say that they wanted to like throw me on the ground and stomp me till all of my
God,
came out. I mean, people can be really ruthless. It's just we're making light of it right now because we have to, right? But it's actually really, I think, a really big problem with the internet and with social media and bullying. And people think that they can just say whatever they want and there's no consequences. And I've been part of that a lot of the time, because when I started Last Man Standing, I also replaced a character. And so for the first couple of years, and even to this day, even though I've been doing the show for 8 years now, I get lots of hate mail for that too. And so I've had lots of versions of this. When I played Brittany Murphy, people didn't take that so well. I've had lots of challenges in this department and been the target a lot of the time. And so I think I've learned how to manage it well, but it's not easy. And it's something that I think we could all learn to like get better at, is being kinder in our social media world and our social media identity, and remember that we're all just in this together. I hope that this quarantine that's happening is kind of encouraging that more, because I feel like there's more of this like come together unity feeling instead of like this attacking feeling, which I think can happen with social media. So anyways, not to get too deep, but it's a complicated issue. Luckily, I have lots of
Definitely.
support in my life and in my career where anytime it would get to be too tough for me, like I had enough people just there for me, which helped me not get too close to it. You know what I mean?
For sure. And it's crazy that, some people don't understand that, of course, this is a character you're playing and you have to separate the character from the actress. And you're such a lovely person just in this interview I'm having with you, so it's crazy that people think that this can come from a character that you're playing on
Yeah,
television.
it's
So,
actually, that's one of the things that my husband and I talk about a lot, or my friends, everybody that I talk with is just like, how do people, they don't get that you're playing a role? Or like, even on Last Man Standing, if like my character says something somebody doesn't like, they're like, how dare you say that? I'm like, but it's a television show, so I don't know. It's just, I love that the audiences feel so connected to the stories that we're
mhm,
telling, and I think that that's a beautiful thing, but there's a fine line, so I don't know,
for
maybe we
sure.
can navigate towards that line a little bit more. Who knows?
Yeah, definitely. And we're like, oh, I'm not the writer. I didn't write that.
Right, exactly.
That's so funny. Well, you mentioned your support system, which is super, super important. And just speaking of support right now, is there anything you can give out to the world? Just talk to everyone about this current situation that we're in.
I mean, I think it's happening. I think we all just need to be there for each other. It's funny because keep joking how this quarantine doesn't feel that different for me, because my family and I are kind of homebodies in the first place. We have a 4-month-old baby, and so our whole life is just consisting of keeping him fed and happy right now, and that's a full-time job. So outside of going to and from work, it's like nothing has really changed for us. I feel like we're very lucky in that regard, but at the same time, because we're healthy and home safe, but there are so many people that don't have that and um, aren't healthy, and I can't even like face it really, because I feel like it's so dark, and I just, it breaks my heart that this is happening to so many people, and affecting so many people. I can't imagine how many people have lost their loved ones and haven't even been able to be there with them, and so quickly and unexpectedly. And also in terms of, because I'm a new mom, so everything is like about being a mom right now, but in terms of my friends who are pregnant and about to have children, like they can't have their birth partners with them while they're giving
Mhm.
birth right now. Like it's affecting people in so many ways.
Yes,
I don't know, so I'm grateful for social media, and for the first time in my life, I think I'm really seeing the value that can be in it. And I think if we just all take the opportunity to just be there for each other, and like I said, be kind, I think that will get us through, and to donate and support to all of the communities that need it right now. There's so many to list, like I couldn't even begin, but you can just, you can think of, medical supplies, or nurses, anything, and find a source and a way to contribute whatever you can, because they need it and they need us. So yeah.
absolutely, 100%. That is the perfect way to end. Like you said,
Oh,
oh,
good.
sorry. Thank you so much for joining me, Amanda. Where can
Oh,
people find
thank
you on social
you.
media?
Thank you. It was really good to talk to you.
It was amazing. Where can people find you on social media?
Oh, Amanda, what is it? AKA Amanda Fuller, I think is my handle on Instagram, and Amanda Fuller 27 on Twitter, I think. I should be better.
Perfect.
I'm gonna get better, I promise.
Like you said, we have time now in quarantine to kind of
Yes,
just poke
exactly,
around on social
exactly.
media. All right. I'm your host, Brian Santos. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at the Brian Santos. Thank you so much again for joining me, Amanda. This is
Thank
Quarantine
you.
with the Stars. I will see you all back here, same time, same place tomorrow, because we aren't going anywhere. Stay safe, stay positive, and most importantly, stay home. Thank you again, Amanda, for joining me. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your